right now, almost $15 billion is owed in child support.
This problem, law enforcement officials tell us, is getting worse.
Now the guy's got to come up with Paulie's money every week, no matter what. Business bad? Fuck you, pay me. Oh, you had a fire? Fuck you, pay me. Place got hit by lightning, huh? Fuck you, pay me.
This is the countywide child support warrant roundup that's already put 31 people in jail in Travis County.
The kids still need to eat. The kids need their clothes. They need to survive.
The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched, and the persons or things to be seized. Probable cause is required by the Fourth Amendment before law enforcement receive an arrest warrant. Probable cause is a reasonable ground for belief in the existence of facts warranting the proceedings complained of. The concept of probable cause is central to the meaning of the warrant clause. Neither the Fourth Amendment nor the federal statutory provisions relevant to the area define probable cause. The definition is entirely a judicial construct. An applicant for a warrant must present to the magistrate facts sufficient to enable the officer himself to make a determination of probable cause. In determining what is probable cause, we are concerned only with the question whether the affiant had reasonable grounds at the time of his affidavit for the belief that the law was being violated. However, under Title 4D, it's illegal to issue and effectuate a warrant for arrest for not paying the 4D crime family. The United States Supreme Court explaining, the requirement that a state operate its child support program in substantial compliance with Title 4D was not intended to benefit individual children and custodial parents, and therefore it does not constitute a federal right. Far from creating an individual entitlement to services, the standard is simply a yardstick for the Secretary to measure the system-wide performance of the Title 4D program operating in the state. Thus, the Secretary must look to the aggregate services provided by the state, not to whether the needs of any particular person have been satisfied. Blessing versus Freestone. So a child needing to eat, or have clothes, or its survival in no way provides probable cause required for a warrant for arrest. Listed again as the constable provides his version of probable cause for these Title 4D executive agency warrants for arrest.
The kids still need to eat. The kids need their clothes. They need to survive.
With his briefcase full of warrants in his hand, Senior Deputy David Morris has one goal in mind.
Parents owe $41 million in Hayes County, and Williamson County numbers show a $115 million child support debt. And in Travis County, that number jumps significantly to almost $500 million.
Travis County Constable Carlos Lopez says funding from Commissioner's Court has allowed them to create 6 teams of officers whose job is to find parents.
In order for the sheriff to profit from the 4D program, he must enter into a 45 CFR Section 302.34 contract under 45 CFR Section 303.107 terms to assist a 4D crime family in the state with the operation of the program. Participation in the 4D program is 100% voluntary, so once the contract is signed, he is no longer a sheriff created under the Constitution. He has succeeded to the status of 4D contractor and not an agent, employee, or officer of any state. While performing these 4D contractual obligations in return for payment from the 4D crime family, he has no immunity and can be sued for false arrest and false imprisonment, not to mention violation of his oath of office. But the most important thing of all is that you can legally defend yourself against any false arrest, which under 4D is in fact kidnapping.
This stack of papers lists more than 100 parents who owe as little as $1,400 to as much as $200,000.
I don't think so, fat boy. The Library of Congress in the United States clearly banned debtors' prisons under federal law in 1833. A century and a half later, in 1983, the U.S. Supreme Court affirmed that incarcerating indigent debtors was unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause.
They go door to door.
Police Department.
So we are crystal clear 4D contractor means an entity providing 4D enforcement services and other administrative functions of the 4D crime family, and is inclusive of those contractors of the program procured through purchase of service contracts as well as contractual agreements with the 4D crime family. The term contractor is strictly applicable to any person who enters into a contract. Clearly, this man knocking on the door identified himself as a police officer under color of authority and color of office, because he knows if he identifies as a 4D contractor, he will get laughed at or better yet punched in his face.
And officers will continue their search until every parent who owes child support is found.
27 new deputies taking the oath today in Hillsborough County. Sheriff Chad Chronister talked about this moment during the ceremony.
You will soon realize that what you do is something much bigger than yourself. When you put on your uniform before each shift and repin that badge to your chest, be a reflection of what it symbolizes.
Sheriff, you'll put your hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
That I will support, protect, and defend.
That I will support, protect, and defend.
The Constitution and government of the United States.
The Constitution and government of the United States.
And of the state of Florida.
And of the state of Florida.
That I am duly qualified to hold office.
That I am duly qualified to hold office.
Under the Constitution of the state.
Under the Constitution of the state.
And that I will.
And that I will.
Well and faithfully perform.
Well and faithfully perform.
The duties of the Sheriff of Manatee County.
The duties of Sheriff of Manatee County.
On which I am about to enter.
On which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Under New York Civil Service Law Section 62, a sheriff is required to solemnly swear or affirm that he will support the Constitution for the United States and the Constitution for the state of New York. He did not swear an oath to assist the 4D crime family within the Article 5 executive branch with the 4D program through a 45 CFR Section 302.34 contractual obligations under 45 CFR Section 303.107 terms required by a 45 CFR Section 303.10 state plan. For instance, under the Constitution for the State of New York, Article 13, Section 13A, the legislature shall direct that the sheriff of each county shall be chosen by the electors not contracted by the 4D crime family. Pursuant to 45 CFR Section 302.34, the Article 13, Section 13 sheriff is contractually obligated to provide service of process pertaining to the 4D program, including warrants for arrest for the 4D crime family, not the court. The Constitution for the State of New York, Article 13, Section 13 also requires that a sheriff shall hold no other office. This means that his succession to the status of 4D contractor strips him of any chance of qualified immunity when you sue him. And of course, 4D Terminator's all-time favorite, by serving and effecting a 4D arrest warrant for profit, he has woefully failed to faithfully discharge the duties of the office of sheriff, according to the best of his ability, not to mention violation of his oath of office.
According to the Texas Attorney General's office, right now there are nearly 1,200 warrants out for people who have not paid child support in Travis, Williamson, and Hayes County.
That's 1,200 counts of deprivation of rights under color of law, color of authority, and color of office. If you have been falsely arrested under a void warrant by the behest of the 4D crime family, then you have standing under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 to file a civil action for deprivation of rights under color of law. Because every person who, under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory or the District of Columbia, subjects, or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws, shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceeding for redress. You can find the 1983 lawsuit form and the civil cover sheet on 4dterminator.com. For in-depth training on this 4D technique, schedule an appointment on our homepage.
You know what it is. You have your assignment if you choose to accept it. You'll be engaging in war and declaring war on the 4D crime family. You can show no mercy, and you never, ever take prisoners. I look forward to hearing your report. Hotep.